Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your January 19th to January 31st astro reading. It's my pleasure, and as you know, these readings are actually timeless and signless, so it doesn't matter when you watch it, and you don't actually have to have any significant Sagittarian placements in order to get anything from this video. If you see it, if you feel called to it, and if it resonates, then they're messages for you. Also, if you'd like to work with me personally in terms of energy healing, mentoring, or various different intuitive readings, you know exactly where to find me. So let's jump right in. I just wanted to let you know right off the bat that I have mother issues. Okay. No, we have a case of MI already, showing itself here. So mother issues are being highlighted for you at this time, Sagittarius. Wherever Sagittarius energies fall in your natal chart, you don't need to check this, it doesn't really matter. You may want to consider how mother issues may be affecting you in that area, but let's be real. Mother issues and father issues are energies that are so, I don't want to say primordial, but it's usually underlying quite a lot of things. But we know, and you for reals know, that even your mother and father issues do not belong to any mother and father that you've ever had, but belong ultimately to the feminine and masculine aspect within you that you have buried so deeply that you have disowned, right? And this disowning spans lifetimes. So sometimes we just don't realize that we keep attracting a certain type of parent each lifetime because guess what? They share qualities with us that we haven't hit that awareness as yet, right? So I'm seeing here for you, Sagittarius, that some of you are on the brink. You're kind of like on the verge. No, I don't want to say on the verge because that implies that there's a momentum forward in a certain direction. So I'm going to say you're on the brink of stepping into owning your stuff, owning what you have, taking responsibility for yourself. So some of you, this could be about learning how to become more financially independent, because some of you may be dependent upon your mother in some case, or this is just what it's vibing as. Some of you are being called to be more independent and take responsibility for your emotions. Some of you are using your mom or your parents in general, but obviously mother issues are all over this reading. You're using your mom as an excuse as to why you haven't reached a certain place in your life, or why you've been held back, or why this happened and that happened. It's just time. It's just time to, oh my gosh, I don't want to say GU, but grow up. No. Spirit, how dare thee, with a capital T, of course, right? But yeah, it's part of our maturation process that we step into greater awareness, step into owning what is ours. I'll tell you, the first thing when people pass over and they transition to the other side, God bless their buttons, when they come back, a lot of times when they come back in spirit to visit and such, you don't realize it sometimes, but they're coming back because they're working with therapists on the other side, they're working on their healing, and part of that process, a major part of that process, is coming back to those who they may have hurt or who they may feel like they owe apologies to, and they're issuing those apologies. Sometimes it's during your sleep. I just heard someone like, because somebody here may have had a dream about their mother apologizing to them, or a mother figure apologizing to them, right? So this is the dynamic that we're looking at. So right now, today, if this reading is for you, regardless of your natal placements, you are being asked, how can you assume more responsibility for your life? And this is not, they're really warding away from doing a half-baked job on this, like, oh well, I guess I can take responsibility for this and that, because that energy is not what we want, because that's incorporating the other idea of assume, making assumptions, like I assume this belongs to me, and I assume, no, Spirit's like, no, we need you to show up and we need you to be serious about this. What is yours? And from Spirit's perspective, you'd be surprised, 4 minutes 44 seconds, how much of our situations on earth are actually ours. I mean, let's keep it 100. who keeps better tallies than the karmic board? They let you know. They let everybody know, So that's the kind of fine-tooth comb that, we're kind of being encouraged to take at this time. So what at your conscious level of awareness at this moment, as you're listening, what can you take ownership for? Yeah, someone may have slapped you, right? For example, we're just using this example. Someone may have slapped you, right, in the middle of the courtyard, and of course, you have the physical pain. People saw it. There's the humiliation. It left you with a mark, all sorts of stuff. But that moment is done now. So if you're 45 years later still carrying that moment with you, there has to be some type of ownership, right? And it's hard to hear these things sometimes because no one wants to get out of their victim role when they haven't really felt like they've had their victim story felt. As I'm talking about this, I'm feeling some of you like, I don't want to even think about it. And that goes to show you that's where the pain is. The pain is you may be telling the story of your victimization or holding that as a maxim in your life, but you haven't really looked at the pain. So then it's just like hot air balloon and not doing anything about it. And that's how you end up becoming somebody who blames other people for what happened. And yes, they will have to pay karmically, and that's, spirits deal. That's what they do. But you will have paid for time served down here. Like you will be actually living in the wake of victimization, victimhood story. And then on the other side, you may not be too happy to hear, the comeback. Spirit's like, dude, well, hey, the comeback, yeah, because you got to come right back in and remedy some stuff. But it's because they're like, okay, well, this happened, but how did you move forward? What did you do about it? And why? And sometimes we, God bless our buttons, and I say we because I'm channeling, so I always go back and listen to the videos because I know they're talking to me too, right? But sometimes we are so not in the perception that we need to be that we just can't see where it's our fault, or where we could have stepped up, or where we could have done better. And this is why we do need to surrender and allow Spirit to come through and to help us, right? And even if you don't have a belief in something higher and you believe in luck before you believe in some other beings looking at you all day, right? Even if you consider yourself an atheist and you consider the spirit world, the energy world, to be in line with what you think is religious, and then therefore you put it out because you have an issue with religion. You know what I mean? So we're unfortunately at a time in human age where people still see energy as a religious thing, and that's, well, the fault of history. But you got to wake up. These are not energetic principles. I mean, these are not these are not religious principles. You leave the earth and you leave that behind. These energies are beyond. And so I always get a little bit bummed when I talk to someone about angels and they're like, oh, I'm not Christian, or oh, that's a Christian thing. And it's marketed that way. It's associated that way. It's historically interwoven that way. But these beings were before this earth even came. We assigned these ideas, 8 minutes, 44 seconds, right? So if you want to keep playing in these old ideologies, do you? But you're doing yourself a disservice. And this goes along with, look, we didn't even need to pull any cards for you today, right? This goes along with what they're saying. They want you to get down to earth. Yes, you were hurt. Yes, you were victimized. Yes, you still should be taking responsibility for yourself. And that's where we come in. We're coming in today to say, hey, what can you do now to take responsibility for the life that you've led, for the choices that you've made, for the perceptions that you've held and that you still hold to this day? What are you doing to create a break in your consciousness for some higher consciousness to come through? Right? That's all there is to it. So we know now that we really need to be mindful of our beliefs, because we just saw for a second there how when we get caught up in ideas of earth stuff, oh, religion and spirituality are different. Da, da, da. No, it's just energy. these angels, these unicorns, all these things, they're real. They just don't seem real from our dimension, but they're very physical in their dimension. But for us, no. Right? It's kind of like you look at the ceiling fan, right? The ceiling fan has 3 different speeds, and the slower the speed, the more you can see it easily. That's because in an analogy, it's closer to your speed. You're standing still, and the slower it is, the more you can see it. But when it's vibrating faster, you can't see it. And that's why you can see ghosts and perceive of ghosts and things from the astral world if, you know, you're honed and you're sensitive. But you may struggle to perceive of higher vibing beings like angels and things like that. So start kind of getting a little bit more educated about these things, lest you just stay in kind of the surface level way of viewing, is what Spirit is saying. And we just saw how Sagittarius, Spirit is coming for your ideologies today, man. And you know, Sag, you guys are the zodiac, you're the teachers, and I mean, Virgos are like, excuse me, us too, but our philosophers are Sagittarians. So we need you, Sagittarius. We need you to step up and take responsibility. Look, the reading's over. That's all you needed. Start moving outside of your paradigms, your old paradigms of thought. 11 minutes, 22 seconds. Yeah? So Spirit is saying it's time to wake up. Look at how super cute. Here's a human. There's a human. She's holding 2 things. He's holding 2 things. But look how short her things are. Come out from that old way of thinking. It's done. And start setting the groundwork now. See the longer staffs? Start setting the groundwork now for new principles to flow through you, new ideologies, new thoughts, right? Listen, Aquarius isn't the only sign that can bring through new ways of thought and things like that. Sagittarius, you're a little bit of a rebel yourself, right? Can you imagine a Capricornian father who has two children, one an Aquarius and the other a Sagittarius? Good God. Can you imagine? That would be so hard for him if he, you know. Yeah, so anyway, so just it's time. Yeah, look at this, 10 of Wands. It's time to put away the toys, put away the old sandbox ideas. It's time to mature into new philosophies, Sagittarius. And that, my friend, is your reading for this week. And you know, it's interesting that Spirit came through. They've probably been trying to get through to you for a while. I just got the color white. You heard me almost say that. And I also just got like a gold bracelet or little bangle around my wrist. I mean, I'm seeing this, so this could be for somebody specifically to take note of that. And anyway, God bless you. The guides are saying they're not going to lead you astray. Some of you may be afraid of taking up new ideas because, some of you have been pausing. You've been delaying yourself from evolving philosophically, ideologically, right? And you know, they're saying they're not going to lead you astray. It's okay. Life isn't designed to be rigid in your thought. As the guys always say, we want ideological flexibility, because when you're ideologically flexible, you know, with a nod to your ethics and all that good stuff, the virtues is the better way to say it, then you can prepare for the flexibility that is needed when you can only see half the picture. And from our perspective as human beings, we're only seeing a minuscule portion of what is. So we're really struggling to do our best. So that's why we have so much polarity down here: religion and spirituality, science and, you know, religion and but when you go higher, you realize it's all the same thing. But if you're only seeing part of it, you're gonna see 2. You know, but if you see more, you see, oh my God, it's a full hand, right? So this is about bending your mindset. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave you off here. If you'd like to work with me more personally, feel free. You know where to find me. I feel like 2 of you will. 2 people are standing out prominently from this group. Anyway, you know where to find me if you need anything done. Mwah. God bless you. Bye.